Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report's for the 11th, and of course, November 11th, significant day, but also the fact that the government has reopened and the markets are exuberant because the spending will continue now, and that will lift things up. Went excessively long, and um, at the end of the day, nothing really changed. So, from a reading standpoint, though, a solid move above for the magenta over the yellow, and that was the critical element, and that really just killed the short setup that it built from the crossover that started the breakdown, and literally saved further meltdown because it would have continued had that not been resolved. But I think that the ending of the SNAP program and then the travel starting to end really was too much for most people because that you get on your representative's case when you can't do things you normally would do. From a DOC reading, and that you can see very strong move of the orange below red, so that's pretty significant. That doesn't mean though that with this big move you're not going to see as much as a third pull back into it, but I would suspect the 76 is going to hold any fade off at this particular time. This is a return back for a lot of people, and those who get even may want to get out or from fear or whatever. And, that's how that usually goes. But should people be exuberant about the situation, they won't. And that becomes a question of just following where you're at with the readings on this. In this particular case, the shorts have pretty much faded off there. It's a strong crossover of steel on the DOC above cyan. And shakeout moving back up, and again, it becomes critical because you got to get back to positive from the zero. We won't know that for a few more days, but it's in the right direction, and it's the beginning of a new trend. So, from a Treasury standpoint, still no activity. Lower rates are going to help again. It's not going to happen until early part of next year before it takes effect. And people think there's going to be a continued one. You just keep pushing that timeline further down. The problem is in oil, and this is the sanctions now, which is why Trump really wanted peace with Russia. And that because to end sanctions with Russia, and that you would have really driven oil prices down. But the fact that they've added to the sanctions made it more difficult, squeezed companies that have been doing business quietly. Um, yeah, no, it's a disaster. It just prolongs any potential recovery. Something we've talked about for a while now. It's pretty basic, and you can see it in the numbers. From a euro standpoint, of course, they were also excited by the U.S. coming back to work, which means they're going to get more liquidity as well. And of course, gold realizes that that's just a spend fest, so bigger deficits, gold making its next phase run. And we'll see what those deficit numbers come out to be. It's going to be rather interesting. Of course, Trump's talking about his tariff rebate, and that's good politics. I don't know if it's sound fiscal move, but no one's going to object to getting a couple $1,000 back from the government for the fact that tariffs are in place. It's trying to win that whole narrative because that was a huge push to claim that whole inflation thing, and that really caused the economy for quite some time because people believed it. From a Bitcoin standpoint, not really going a whole lot of anywhere, and the same thing with ETH at this particular stage. They're caught in the unknown sector, what's going on with energy, AI, all of that, and how it impacts it is just a lot of, and it's an interesting thing because it's a strange time where you have so many things that are really like on hold because this is all a recovery from the Biden years of all that inflation and everything. You've got the stall out of clamping that down, and when the resurgence begins, that becomes the question mark. And I still think it's tied to oil, but we'll see how the economics of go. The amount of investment coming in that is great, but it's down the road. Down the road. 50K standpoint, pretty clean and simple. When you did have the breakdown, you had the small little move. It wasn't enough to even get MBI white over magenta, and that was the end of it right there. That was at 76, so yeah, drove to new highs on that. And it was pretty clean with the cyan under red, and doing the same thing again. Just crossed over, so we could see a little bit of a pullback. So you're getting your A, B, C kind of moves, stair stepping up. Still positive extreme, so that's something worth noting. goes all the way back to actually the beginning before the breakout down to 67, 54 range. So yeah, get that one locked in for the future, and then 5 minute church shows it all. I mean, started off once the word was out, it was just clean straight up. And we'll see. They're supposed to vote on it in the House. That will be another, exciting swoon, and everyone will be looking at the details on what extra pork got added where and how it fit in and everything. But a little soft here in the European session, so it's kind of done its weakness. So we might see a move back up towards the even side of it by the time the open happens. That's the long and the short of it for now. Anything relevant, I'll put on the team chat. Have a good one. Trade well.